Today we are discussing about the interpretation of test scores. The major objective of this thing is we have to understand how we have to test scores need to be interpreted based on the obtained test. Or based on the test scores, we have to interpret. Then we need to understand the concept of report writing based on the report score. Then we need to explain the ethical issue in psychological testing. These are the major objective about we can understand by going this entire thing. So mainly these are the objective of this lesson. So when we go to the next, if we are administrating any test, psychological inventory test, or to the any person after interpretation, then we will get the sheet based on the manual. We are going to assessing the results. So the result scores, obtaining of the result score, we have to consolidate that while for report writing. So at that time, we need to interpret each obtained score. So how we are going to interpretation of the scores means any test, imagine you are assessing one person or any client. So after administration, the completion of the test, like a psychological test by the examining a person to the client. So we have to check with the manual. Based on the manual, you have to check what are the things response is given. Based on the response, we have to take and the total scores we have to collect. So after collecting the total scores, we have to interpret results. We have to analyze all the results based on the manual. So the scores refers to means total score refers to summary or evidence condition of the examinee of response of the particular test. It consists of being measured or finalized. So the scores are generally raw scores. Whatever we are getting the scores after assessing the raw scores will get. So based on raw scores, we have to understanding the how they every test or every response they given. So based on the raw score, we have to understand the meaning by dividing and concluding the scores. What is the score value and what it indicates? What is the response of the person for the particular test? The raw scores will be we have to organize it by some systematic way. So normally any systematic after obtaining raw score we are using especially the statistical by using statistics method we are uh, interpreting after interpretation we are using the following ways. One is statistical table, as you know everybody, the statistical table and rank order and frequency distribution. So normally we studied in the lower session about the statistics. Most of the people, these statistics tables are especially used for providing or calculating all the raw scores. We have to keep in to arrange in the proper way, systematic way, proper way in different columns, in different rows, different under heading based on the whatever we provided the questionnaire or testing things. So when we see the statistical table, it will be organized as the rows. If we are conducting one test at a school, especially for the children, then if you want to after getting their all assessments, so each child will be, it may be girls, boys, the teachers will be there. So we are conducting the test to the boys and girls. So after conducting, we will get some raw scores. At the time, all raw scores we have to obtain in a common place. At the time, we will use the table. In the table should be in the rows and columns will be there. We can write some example, name of the school. So pass percentage of the school, the total. So what is the girls percentage? What is the boys percentage? So example A, B, C, D for X, Y, Z. If you take no totally, the entire school percentage will be 95%. So when we see girls may be having 94%, boys may be having 93%, the cumulative percent maybe. We can see that the tables are used for the keeping the raw data in a particular way. So by seeing this statistical table, we can easily understand that this will be useful and we can easily refer our score for formulating for things. They so hope you everybody will understand the statistical table. So this statistical table will be useful for providing the information in a sequence way, column way, in different heading, different tables, whatever we get raw score, it will be useful for keeping the statistical table. Then we will follow as per our syllabus rank order. As you know that rank order is one of the best way to arrange or based on your raw score in successfully order ascending or descending order based on the obtaining raw scores. So even any information, the ascending order will be starting from small to big, descending order will be starting from big to small. So the series of exhibition or any rank merit position will be based, we have to consider the individual details and we have to keep in a way whether based on the each location, each test may be vary. So, but we have to keep in a ascending order or descending order. So by using this order, in case if you see one example, any school or any course of the obtaining, they attended for any entrance test or final examination of the 50 students. They may be attempting 50 questionnaires. Each questionnaire they may be getting scores. So at the time we have to see what is the score, how they received, and how we have to keep. That will be one of the thing. So when we see this example, these are the one example in given these things in a rank order. So 50 students of the BA students obtained the achieved test tabulated in. So these are the ranks. If they given randomly the scores, we can't understand what is the score they get and what is the things will be having. So if we follow the rank order distribution data, so this will be the serial number. The first one, how much he got, and the second one, how much he got, the fourth one he got. Recently we discussed, these are the scores obtained by 50 members. When we see we can't find a rank order, maybe because of the obtained raw scores will be arranged in the and not in a systematic way, whether they not followed the ascending order or descending order. So it will be mixed way. So if we want to know the rank order of the obtaining raw score, we have to use this follow table so that we can understand. Here we are seeing that higher score to lower score. The person who got here place B as a higher score and maybe he first. And those who got lower score will become lost. So this may be ascending order. We can follow the descending order also. You have to choose whether any one of the model to understanding better way of the your things obtaining raw scores so that it will be easy to understanding yourself what is the RASCO, how we have to distribute, we have to obtain, how we have to do all the scores will be this. So hope almost all everybody will understand about the rank order. So normally most of the people knows that. So rank order, even your regular life also based on the obtaining marks in classroom also based on the obtained model, who got highest score they are getting first rank, who are getting lower so the rank will be followed. The same the method we are also using for any testing, obtaining all the scores. We have to make a table and we have to follow some rule things. It will be ascending order or descending order. So ascending order or descending order, here we are taken as a ascending order. We are following from higher score to lower score. So this is one way of method. Then frequency of distribution. The frequency of the distribution is also one of the major criteria. So if you see the frequency of distribution, it clearly indicate that if you take the same example of the previous thing about 50 students who got the number of marks and all the things. The frequency means the same category. The number of times the scores has repeated. When we see what is the frequency of the thing, that average or number of times it have been repeated by the scores. So if you understand among 50 students whom they got, so each school will be, each testing will be having the same scores. At that time, if the child is having, any child or any testee will be having the same scores now, 2, 3, 4, 5 members. So the frequency will be, if you imagine, if I want to explain this, if I want to explain the same thing they taken here, to understand the frequency of the each score or frequency table, how many emails, number of scores will be categorized and how times and frequency, how many times are these scores are repeated. When we see the 65 to 69 score, normally we taken as an interval. So if you see only one time has a 65 to 65, 9, only one time has obtained. That means only one child has received this score. If you see here, only this clearly indicate only one person has clearly got. That is the reason the frequency time he is here only one. When we see the 60 to 64, the 60 to 64, if we see 60 to 64, 1, 2, 3, 3 member. So the frequency means 60 to 64, 3 member obtain the score. That is the reason the frequency is 3. That means the number has repeated 3 times in the same class. The same thing that frequency also, the total school children will be came for these things. The score will be 45 to 49 will be 9 times repeated. The average time is 9. And 40 to 44 will 11. The frequency is 11. And 35 to 39 will be 8 frequency. And 30 to 35 will be 4 frequency. And 20 to 24 only 1 time. When we see the total number of frequency also, we can calculate it is also 50 because 50 number we take 50 students we take based on their score, the frequency take. That means the frequency mean, so clearly indicate that how many times the score has repeated in the given series. So this is one thing. Then when we see the after frequency, this is a one criteria. Just now we understand that based on the statistical table, one is statistical table, second thing is rank order, third one is frequency distribution. So statistical table will be useful for the obtained information and obtained cross score in a different columns and different headings and different rows. So that table will give a original raw score per percentage, mean, standard deviation, as early as whatever you want to put in a formal way. That statistical table will be useful. The second method will be rank order. The rank order is the we have to use successfully by obtaining the total score, raw score in a ascending order or descending order. So it will be give clear picture of the things. And the third one, just now we learned that frequency distribution. The frequency distribution is the distribution, the scores based on the obtained scores. We have to identify how many times the same score has repeated in the given series. So a large number of scores and long series adequately we have to summarize and based on the proper heading, all the things while we are representing. So just now I taken the one example of the uh, test scores of the school. The same thing if you are organizing any psychological assessment school test to number of children or number of clients, the same thing you can also see total out of 50 items or 50 students, how many students are uh, uh, clear that one. What is the raw score? Based on the raw score, so you have to go follow whether ascending order, descending order. Each one you can easily find out that totally frequency distribution. This frequency distribution we can easily understanding that how many times the same number, same score will be repeated within the time that thing. So this is the one more time. So here raw scores are coming when we see any test score, the raw scores don't have meaning. Example, any child or anything, if we get 40 score means we don't have any 40. Example, if you are assessing any child, will be imagined by using one psychological assessment tool of stress. So stress may be having imagine stress inventory if you are using the total score will be having 100. So if the child is getting sorry any client is getting 60 and one more client is getting 20 and another client is getting 10, by referring the raw score you can't understand when we refer the manual, what is the meaning of the raw score? What is the things, how it will be, stress will be divided. So what is the 0 to 5 is no stress or 0 to 10 is no stress, 10 to 20 is the mild, 20 to 30 is moderate, 30 to 40 is severe, 40 and above is profound means you can understanding. If you are giving some value to that raw score, then only we will be able to understand that. Otherwise, without assigning the thing, the raw score don't have any meaning or anything. So we have to apply the interpretation. Usually, we by raw score we can't understand anything. If we are interpreting the things with assigning the values to raw score, then we can get easily things. So we have to apply the interpretation score, which are by norms referring and certain referencing. So norms means the any raw score after obtaining raw score, we have to we based on the raw score, we have to compare the client test score with a specific group of examining tests to know the process. What is the norm referring? The norms means just now I discussed with you in the manual. The manual clearly they mentioned that what is the things. Just now I example one. Uh, Stress, what is the scores, that is also taken an example. So when we compare any satisfying meaning of emergency norms or defining average performance of particular standardized sample or anything, any population, anything, we have to use that norms referring. So what is the norms referring? Example, any child or any client will be taken any intelligence test, any performance test, any stress or anxiety or any psychological test, we have to take their scores and we have to compare obtained score, the raw scores. We have to finally compare the raw score. Then we have to compare with the grades. That means what are the manual given is the things. Based on the grades, the respondent standard sample, we have to refer. That is also one second thing. Second thing is certain reflection. So we have to see the basic thing, the cut score. What is the cut score? What is the basic score? What is the advanced and what is the proficient in the all the things will we have to see. So even in some these cases regarding mainly different to tests. However, they certain refer to the test always be upon the preponed cutoff scores, norms referred always will be standardized sample. Means if you are taking any new test, constructing new test, you have to go for many things. Already standardized means many times they conducted, they will be standardizing the school test. So how the test will be standardized, how the norms will be fixing, how we are doing, that will be we can learn in the construction of test construction of tool, we can understand very clearly. Based on the obtaining raw scores after interpretation of the after assigning, we have to interpretation. Based on the interpretation will be referring with the manual score. If X, Y, Z is getting a 20, 30, 40 raw score, so we have to verify and we have to check the what is the 20, 30, 40 in the manual. Manual. Based on that, we have to interpretation has to be there. So that interpretation will be we have to write a report writing. Each and every assessment or test will we have to report writing. So in the psychology, in the recent they communicate the test will be in the results will be meaningful and with any client. We have whatever the information will be provided by the tester will be appropriate, should be presented in appropriate way with explanation model. When we see the report writing, Goldman has given the definition that identified 4 dimensional test interpretation and report writing. So when we see that according to Goldman, descriptive, genetic, predictive, evaluative, he divided to 4 types. So any things will be the descriptive. As you know that everybody, this is the report essentially providing the terms indicative, very descriptive way, very informative way, very long way, clear, crystal clear, and how has example, if you take any person, if you are assessing the person will very clearly, very detailed way, they will provide descriptive way, we will provide the comparison with the others. Your example, he or his likes, his dislikes, his interest, is not interest. What is the times? How he is sociably interacted? How he is isolated, or he is an introvert or is an extrovert? What is the subjects like? What is subject not like? What is data and what is the things will be? We can clearly mention in the descriptive method. In the then take it is written order how why the examining behavior or experience during the timing. Most of the psychologists any providing the validation of inducting or happening the test. They clearly we based on the previous information and other things will be presented in the score. If you see most of the medical things, physicians or doctors can say that in the present of VCC, the patient had heart attack earlier. So it will be based on the previous information and also present information coordinating and giving. Example, if any person went for the diagnosis or health checkup or if consulted any doctor, the doctor will suggest him bring your all previous case histories, all the things. So based on if you are providing some medical test, they will see that Based on this medical test, he will tell that you have previously a heart attack earlier. So this may be how we understanding our previous records and other things, and what are the symptoms which is containing heart attack. He will provide the details. Predictive way. The predictive way means everybody knows by seeing the word also predictive. Any psychologists are explaining likely the future presence. Most of the people will come. So these are the things. All the things happen. What I will do then. Example. If any child, any person will have come to you. Example, those who are getting a low score or studying very low, or average students will come to you, any psychologist, they will ask that I am very average, but I want to complete my engineering. I want to complete my medicine. Okay, but I'm unable to get the seat. So what we will do? Then we have to check with him. We have to assign with him. We have to discuss with him. So it many not because they are based on the things they are unable to fare well, unable to process proper way in their studies. So we have to get that. The predictive way, it may be difficulty to give clear picture containing compared to other things like descriptive way and genetic. We have evidence of the predictive way. Maybe sometimes it may be difficult. Evaluate, evaluative. This is another report we are giving the thing, the evaluative report. That most of the psychologists have behind this test data. The evaluation based on the data obtained scores. So everybody, we will make sure that the space based on the obtained score. If one client come to anyone, if they are asking what is the any psychological issue, if they are coming for one issue with a different symptom, then at the time psychologists will assign them any psychological test, like if they want to assign mental health. So if you are assigning by using one mental health inventory, so after getting their raw score, based on the response, after getting raw score, based on the raw score, based on the raw score will refer to manual. Based on the manual, what is the reference, we can easily to compare that whether he is having the mental health issue, whether mild, moderate, severe, or his condition, we can tell that. So it will be easy because we have the base of specific. We can give, if having any issues, we can give the suggestion, guidance, and professional advice, and other thing also. We can ask them the support. If anything, we can, if it is a mild, low or mild, we can give them some suggestion. Otherwise, if he is having a high other thing, we can consult with the other psychiatrist. The same thing, one more example, here I will give evaluative approach. Every child will come for a career guidance, and so for after +2, after the bachelor or before +2, based on the interest, based on the open marks, based on the some test we have, acute vocational interest test, all the thing, based on the test score, based on the raw data, appropriate suggestion we can give for the student for our higher going. So these are a few things will be given by them. So it will be give the clear picture and suggestion for the students and completion of the things. And these will be useful for information presented honestly and meaningful to give the proper report, give the suggestion and guidance. This report will be useful. So some people will give descriptive, and some people will give genetic, and some people will predictive, some people will be evaluative. So based on the situation and what is the condition, all the things, anybody can choose what type of report writing you want to complete all the things. So this reporting writing will be results measure how we take a measure and how it will be discussed also we can. So most of the obtained raw score, we have to give the results. The results should be interpreted and based on the written properly, and those only qualified person only we have to write, and we have to provide the result based on the by referring the manual also. So we have, while writing, you have to refer the manual. If all mandatory, we have to based on the manual only. We have to citation also required, and most of the psychologists need to engage interpretation of the scores of the question while discussing. If we are writing genetic, we have to write questions, write them, and we have to consider them for results, and the client to need to accept the information whatever we are presenting him or us. We have to communicate in a polite way and as a professional way. Very clearly we should explain that, and statistical description should not be included any date. Example, if you are giving one year report, we should not include his what is previously what we learned, frequency, raw score, and other things, how we got, which question we got, and manual score. We should not include any things in the report. That the report should be only clearly mentioned based on the manual only. The whatever we learn, that will be for your report writing purpose and to understanding what is the situation of the test score obtained from the thing. The test performance and everything should be presented honestly and meaningful to the client or any person those who are assessing. So while assessing or doing anything, ethical issues in testing also we need to follow. So when we see any our psychological testing or paper construction, it will be approved by the American Psychological Association. So there is a team. The ethical principle, all everything will be followed. So based on this, the American Psychological Association will assess the testing tool, construction of testing, what is the things, everything. If we follow that things only, the test will be approved. So if you see since 1917, he heightened concern the ethical problem, also border question value for field of both theoretical and practical applied psychology. In the testing area, they are providing rules, values, understanding of how it will be followed, presented by the things they clearly mention. And when we see the one of the major things, the user qualification and professional competency. If you see, most of the people don't having the professional experience and the qualification also. Most of the people, they are normally they are providing, developing their own testing and assessing and giving them. That is not the exact way. Every person, those who, if you want to assign one any questionnaire and assessment, he has to be qualified and he should be a professional competency. The professional competency having report writing system and all the things, qualification should be how he had to understand the way of method, how we have to assign the test, how we have to explain, how do we have to administer, what is the timeline, who are the eligible, what is the which one we have to provide the test. If you see, most number of people will come different way. If you see, even applied psychology, many people will be having especially for individual individual test will be different. The performance test will be different. Personality test will be different. Each person maybe some test may be a performance test, some test may be numerical test, some test will be or each test and each area will be having, the person should be has qualified, and also he should be professional to assigning the test, trained, and not only trained one, the professional one, trained one, and also who knows the report writing, all the things. He has to go assess that, he has to intervene that test. The most important thing is any profession, those who are going for the assessment of the thing, the professional psychologist testing, he has to follow. the following things. Well-trained examiner need to choose appropriate for particular purpose and they can testing the person or by the exam. Actually, he has to aware of what is the research literature. That means manual, test and testing evaluation, testing techniques, testing timing, and how we have to norms and the reliability of the test, validity of the test, objectivity of the test. Everybody to understand. After knowing though how it will be very thing how we have to conduct the test, how we have to follow, and what is the conclusions and the recommendation after considering the test scores only. Everybody has to provide for the individual or test to whoever come to know. The person who are providing the test, he has be having a sufficient knowledge, understanding, and and also about the human behavior and we should not give unnecessary information and other testing score to the person. We have to very clear based on the a manual score and we based on the need only we have to provide the appropriate information to the testing. While writing a test report also very clearly we have to clearly mention whatever the things should be there in the test. So these are the few things we have to understand important any trained one psychology testing for the following reason. Responsibility of test publishers. So any test publications should be there, no, they are also need to follow some responsibility that whatever when we have to conducting the test, we have to follow some responsibility that are the most of the things will be publishers will be they have to sometimes they will directly publish some things while publishing any psychology or anything, so they have to keep some uh, proper guidelines as per the psychological. If you see some scores or some at the publishers, they will directly publish without the following proper order guidance. So any graduation of bachelor degree of psychology student, master degree of psychology students, or any other students, those who are going to wanted to assess psychological testings or tools, you have to purchase or you have to collect from the authenticate publisher only. So authenticate publisher should be contain their everything as per the APA guidelines. So the test should be publisher should be having they have to follow the certain guidance regulation as per the publisher as per the test things. What are the things they have to cover? What need to provide? All the things. Most of the MA degree psychology students, even MPhil, PhD, people don't have that particularly, especially particular assessment tools. Therefore, they are using sometimes, but after understanding all the things, they will go for the proper publications. They will check the guidelines, APA guidelines, and also they will go for the manuals, all the things they will check, then only they are going. But if you are constructing or if you are doing, we have to follow before publication all the guidelines and of the publication based on the APA. And if any kind testing should be, will be confidentiality. Other one of the major thing is confidentiality. In psychology, most of the things clients will come to us for assessing to understanding their the situation. At the time being a psychologist, being the person or any person or any student should be after assessing them, whatever the raw score, what are the response, what are the information collected from the person, student or client, anybody. So you should not misuse. You have to keep every information will be confidentiality as per the need only you have to share. You should not share all the information like raw scores, what is the test score, what is the other thing, and what is the clinical test what you have made and what are the techniques you used. All the things you should not think that. And also you should not share without consent of the person to the other people. So release if you want release if one person came to you to understand his psychological status, so without knowing us family members, without knowing of friends and relatives, at the time if you take on any information from him, whatever the collected based on the tools, the result should not be revealed without consent of the concerned person. While releasing or sharing the information, we have to take the consent from the client or who approached you. So this is one of the major important things that we should follow the confidentiality of any information with proper consent and with proper response from the client only. All the records should be kept in a very safe and security manner. We should not disclose anywhere, and all the things should be with any information, anything. We should not exploit the policy of decision or availability of the personal any information, testing score or personal information or the other things of the client who came to you. You should not reveal without consent, without his knowledge to other way. We should not publish also the same thing. So while doing all the things, the confidentiality also one of the major thing. Most of the uh, things we already covered in this chapter. So we will hope everybody will understand the thing regarding the uh, regarding the interpretation of this core. Hope everybody will understand all the things whatever today we discuss. So for your sake today, one more for your reference to understanding, to recall, I am repeating one more time. So we discuss about the interpretation of the test score. So we understand that most of the thing this chapter will be useful for understanding how the test scores are interpreted. So based on the obtained raw score, how we are going to interpret it, the way what we are using, what are the statistical tests we are using, all the things we can learn. So to concept of report writing and ethical issues in psychological testing. Three things we learned from this today's session. So first one is what is the test score we understanding, what are the interpretation. While interpreting, we understand that statistical tables we can use to by raw scores to generate the table to understanding easy, to interpret data based on the statistical table. Second one is rank order. The rank order also give more clear picture to easily to interpret the score. Third one is frequency distribution. That frequency distribution also clearly useful, and based on the frequency distribution, we can easily describe the test scores and the total population, what are the things, how many people are covered. And also we learn the norms and a certain citation reference, all the things. Second thing also, report writing also we understand how we have to follow the report writing, what we have to consider while report writing, what we have to take, what are the things and all things. And ethical issues in testing also we understanding. So any ethical issues in testing of the thing, using any tester, who should be used, that the person who has the qualified and person professional person and who having all the qualification competencies only he has to use, and the way how we have to take the responsibility of the test publication. If we want to publish any test, we have to follow the APA guidance all that, and perfection of the privacy and confidentiality testing drive population we understand today. So hope everybody will understand this today. If anyone having any doubts, we can message, we can clear. So thank you to understand everyone clearly. If anything, you can send message or any doubts you can write us. We will clarify. So thank you for everyone.